Hello, my name is Barmak Bahrehmand, and today I want to talk about one of the most powerful parts of digital marketing, search engine optimization or SEO. SEO improves the quality of websites so that they can attract more audience from search engines. By using SEO wisdom and techniques, you can make sure that your website stands out among all other websites. Just to give you an idea about the fierce competition, I take you back in time for a second or two. It all started with a black screen. The first website went online in August 1991. This is a regeneration of that website. And now it is estimated that we have around 1.9 billion websites. This is almost like one website for every 4 human beings on Earth. As a digital marketer, we need to understand search engines inside out. Search engines are getting very clever these days. They can crawl our websites, index their content, and then through a complex set of algorithms, they rank the web pages against other pages with similar content. So in this session, I want to tell you about the importance of the search engine optimization so that you will learn about the power of search engine in the world of marketing. I also want to show you how Google's search engine results page can help you achieve your marketing goals. I will also talk about the ranking factors so that you will learn how to look at your website from a search engine's point of view. And then I will mention the 3 pillars of SEO and also the importance of user experience. And we'll show you how you can optimize the web pages for search engines. In the realm of SEO, like many other things in the world, the force and the dark force collide. So I also want to talk a little bit about these forces. Of course, it is for you to choose which side to take, but I myself am a Yoda fan. And last but not least, I want to empower you with some SEO words of wisdom. And I want to tell you about one secret. Wait for it, you will hear it during this session. Let us start with some statistics. This graph by smartinsights.com, remember this website is a good website, shows that 81% of internet users aged 16 to 64 searched online for a product or service to buy. And this one from Search Engine Journal, remember this website as well, shows that over 25% of people click the first Google search result. So I think these numbers vividly show how important it is to rank on a search engine and have an optimized website. For this presentation, I want to concentrate on Google because in many countries, more than 80% of searches are done through Google. But depending on different countries, other search engines such as Bing, Baidu, or Yahoo are more or less popular. Now I want to show you how powerful Google's search results page can be for marketers. In addition to a link from your website, you can put a dozen other features on the Google's SERP. Just look at this print screen of the CNN. We have featured snippets, we have local packs, we have news boxes, we have reviews, we have the knowledge card, we have the videos, we have search boxes, shopping results, knowledge panels, Twitter packs. All these features are presented on Google's first page. For the sake of this presentation, I just explained some of these features that can have a huge impact on your click-through rate. Featured snippets. A featured snippet is information pulled from a third-party website and then displayed in a box at the top of a SERP with a link to the website. The featured snippet is extremely valuable for driving traffic to your website. I want to look at local packs as well. These are for keywords that Google thinks are intended for local use. For example, you're hungry and type in pizza restaurant near me. These features dominate the SERP, especially on mobile, because usually when you are looking for a restaurant, you are on the move. Another very important feature is the site links. When someone searches for an exact domain, Google may display a pack of up to 10 site links. Site links can benefit your site by generating higher CTR. It also helps users to get to the page that they are looking for much faster. What I want to emphasize on is that you can use a lot of these features to conquer the SERP. Of course, it depends on the website that you have and on the content that you create. But how can we reach that ultimate goal? How can we defeat that algorithm and conquer the first page or even the first Google search result? Well, you need to know a lot about pandas and penguins and hummingbirds. Well, not like a zoologist, but like a tech savvy, because these are the names of some of Google's algorithms. To rank a website, Google considers over 200 ranking factors. Nobody knows what exactly these are, but SEO gurus have figured out what works and what works not. Also, from time to time, people close to Google give us hints. Follow this person, John Mueller. Everybody who has a question about ranking factors goes to John Mueller. And you, as a digital marketer, you need to learn about these algorithms as much as you can. For example, the hummingbird helps Google better interpret the search queries. And these days, by using natural language processing, it can even understand the relationships between words and phrases. For example, it can distinguish between a bar where you can have a drink and a bar exam when you want to become a lawyer. In a page, when the words bar and beer are mentioned, the hummingbird makes a page rank, even if the page doesn't contain the exact words the searcher entered. And the panda is responsible for the quality score of a web page. And this score is then used as a ranking factor. And penguin is responsible for backlinks. It will downrank websites whose backlinks look unnatural. There are also other algorithms with no animal names, such as RankBrain and BERT, which gauge the quality of content and determine if a content is relevant to the queries or if the content is poorly written. Actually, BERT rewards good writing. So, as a digital marketer, you also need to know how to write meaningful content. For example, each paragraph needs to be short and have only one topic. All in all, there are 3 areas that you need to take care of to rank well on a search engine: on-site SEO, off-site SEO, and technical SEO. You need to take care of all these 3 to get results. And these days, when you optimize these areas, you should always think about the user experience as well. On-site SEO is mostly about content. You can think of content as a fishing bait. Content can attract customers. Google's algorithms work hard to determine whether your content is good enough to be ranked. If you asked me like 2 years ago about some tips and best practices, the first thing that you would have heard from me was conduct a good keyword research. But now I say concentrate on topics. That's because although keywords are still important, but instead of putting certain keywords on certain places on a web page, you should concentrate on relevance. You should build related content and gather content around a topic. Ask yourself how relevant this content is to your user's intent. Because these days it is more about the users and not about the keywords. Learn about your audience, understand what they are looking for, and create content around the topics that best fulfill their needs. As Moz.com, one of the prominent websites about SEO, puts it, a good web page has content that is in-depth, user-friendly, uniquely authoritative, and trustworthy, and everything should be built around the user's search intent. Do these, and you will rank the web. Well, part of it. You still need to pay attention to technical and off-site SEO. And now some words about technical SEO. This is a list of things that you need to take into account for a site's technical optimization. There are many things that you could do. These are a few. For the sake of this presentation, I will explain some of these best practices. They can really have a huge impact on your ranking. First of all, you need a sitemap. A sitemap is a kind of blueprint of your website that helps search engines find, crawl, and index all of your website's content. Sitemaps also tell search engines which pages on your website are most important. You also need to have a site architecture. An ideal website architecture helps users and search engine crawlers easily find what they are looking for on a website. So, usually a hierarchy works fine on a website. Keep that in mind. Another important factor is page speed. You might have heard about CDNs, cache, lazy loading, minifying CSS. These are techniques and technologies that help you either reduce the web pages or bring your content to a server that is closer to your users. And by using these tools, you can increase the site speed. In the realm of web pages, I believe that less is more. So you should concentrate on usability and user intent instead of just building a beautiful website. And believe me, there are many tools and concepts that you can use to build a beautiful website and keep the pages lightweight as well. One of the websites that I have seen does that very nicely is Backlinko. Check it out, and there you will also find lots of good content about digital marketing. And one more thing that is important for technical SEO is structured data and schema markup. Structured data and schema markup tell search engines what your content means. There are different categories. For example, you can tell Google that this content is an article or it is an information page about a restaurant. Then you can fill out a form or write some code on top of the page, and the result will look like this, and a richer link on Google's SERP can be created. According to studies, using structured text and schema markup won't help you to get a better ranking, but using schema can give some of your pages rich snippets, and because rich snippets stand out in the SERPs, they can improve your organic click-through rate a lot. I also want to talk about duplicate content. One thing that you need to have in mind is that you don't want duplicate content because it can decrease the value of your website. Avoid them, and if you have products with several variants, use canonical and no-follow link tags to tell Google which page is the main page and which pages the bots should ignore. The offsite SEO is mostly about link building. The idea is that if other websites refer to your website, it shows that your website is credible. But of course, it is important from which websites the links are coming. If the reputation of those websites are bad, then the links might even damage your reputation. So it is important to keep an eye on that and constantly build good links and get rid of bad links. Google Search Console and Google Analytics are some of the tools that can show you the referral links to your website. Also, there are many online tools that you can use. For example, ahrefs.com and semrush.com can be of great help. And moz.com is very good as well. These websites are the best for SEO. These days, aside from the three pillars of SEO, another aspect of SEO is becoming more important, which is the user experience. By introducing new algorithms, Google measures how user-friendly a website is. For example, Google wants to see how fast your website is, and it demands that an individual web page should load in less than 2.5 seconds. If not, it is probable that people would leave the page. Google's RankBrain looks at user experience and is focused on behavior metrics such as site bounce rate, organic CTR, pages per session, and dwell time. By looking at these metrics, RankBrain determines if the user is having a good time on your website. For example, depending on how much time everybody spends on one page and how many times she comes back to a page, Google can determine whether the content has been useful to the user or not. Another factor is website's responsiveness. These days they say mobile first, so make sure the website is optimized for mobiles. Also, in May 2021, Google introduced something called Core Web Vitals. These are some new ranking signals that measure user experience. These mostly evaluate the speed, responsiveness, and visual stability of a website. If you want to dive into it, a good 132-page ebook is provided by searchenginejournal.com. Just search for the site's name plus a complete guide to Core Web Vitals. The link is also provided here. For the sake of this presentation, I just want to explain some of best practices that can improve the user experience. There are many things that you can do, and a list is provided here. I just mentioned a few of them. For example, you need to break up your content into smaller paragraphs. Use bullet points and ordered lists. Use more images that illustrate what you are trying to say. Use images more wisely. Replace images that cannot squeeze down to less than 50 kilobytes. Use graphs. Your audience will learn a lot just by looking at these graphs. Test your pages on different mobile devices. Okay, this sums up the 3 pillars of SEO. Also, I mentioned how important user experience has become these days. All in all, to seduce the search engines, you need to have in mind that a web page is technically sound, is credible, it has high quality content, and it is user friendly. Now, in the real world, a war has been going on for years to defeat the search engine algorithms. Like many real-world issues, here you can distinguish between two powerful forces. More like Star Wars, I would say. The Force and the dark side of the Force. So, Yoda and Darth Vader, if you want. In the realm of SEO, we have white hats and black hats. And you should choose wisely and determine on which side you want to be. Do you belong to those people who are ready to deceive the search engines to attract audience to a website, for example by keyword stuffing? Or you want to walk that extra mile to build a high quality website that might take off with a slower pace but get to Google SERP after a while and stay there? I'm a white hat supporter for 2 reasons. Google algorithms are becoming very powerful, and if you deceive them with silly tricks, Google will punish you. And the second reason is that SEO's ultimate aim is to rank a website that can be addressed the user's intent. It is all about users. For the sake of this presentation, I want to mention some of those tricks that you should avoid and some that you should use. Keyword stuffing, that is the most famous one. Keyword stuffing is the practice of inserting a large number of keywords into web content and meta tags in the attempt to increase a page's ranking in search results in the hope to drive more traffic to the website. But search engines have really become smart, so this is really something to avoid. Hidden link or text. This happens when, for example, you use white text on white background, or locate text behind an image, or use CSS to position text off screen. You do that to attract audiences to a page which has a different content. So it is again a way of deceiving people. So avoid that. And one last thing that I want to mention is cloaking. As Google defines the term, cloaking refers to the practice of presenting different content or URLs to human users and search engines. Cloaking is considered a violation of Google's Webmaster Guidelines. Google says because it provides the users with different results than what they had expected. So avoid this one as well. And instead, you can create some quality content, or you can use well-structured markup language, or perhaps you can create a simple website navigation. So let us have some wisdom here. To be precise, some SEO wisdom. SEO is a bit complex, so you really need to immerse yourself in it for a long time to make a grasp of it. There are hundreds of questions that you need to have answers for. So a good tip to really improve your SEO skills is to build a website yourself. There are lots of website builders and CMSs out there. Choose one to your convenience. I myself like WordPress. With like $100 per year, you can have a host and register a domain, and as they say, Bob's your uncle. You just need to spend some time and try to figure out how things work, but it is good if you do it on your website. Do it first on your website and then on other people's websites. To sum up the discussion about SEO, of course this is a starter course. I want to tell you about one determining factor or one secret, well, not that secret, but perhaps I could say one key concept that can help you optimize websites that would shine. And here the wisdom is that you should optimize the web pages for your audience, not search engines. Actually, this is what Google wants you to do in the first place. And all those 200 algorithms are there to see whether your website is good enough for your prospected audience. So the one thing that you should take out of this video presentation is that optimize a website so that it can serve users better, not the bots. Google algorithms are constantly changing, so in the realm of SEO, you really must remain up to date. Follow SEO gurus and also follow searchenginejournal.com. The tips that I'm giving you are good enough for late 2021, but in 1 year from now, these will all look old. So as Steve Jobs says, stay hungry and stay foolish. Thank you and goodbye.